The notification sound cut through the silence of my apartment like a gunshot. I stared at my phone, my blood turning to ice as I read the name on the screen. Dante Morrison, CEO. And below it, 3 words that made my soul leave my body. My place, now. No. No. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. This had to be a nightmare, some twisted, humiliating nightmare that I'd wake up from any second now. But my phone buzzed again, and the message was still there. Just like the text I'd sent him 30 seconds ago was still there. Yes, I had sent it to Dante Morrison, CEO of Morrison Tech, my direct superior, and the most intimidatingly gorgeous man I'd ever seen in my life. And he'd replied, "My place, now. Let's see if you're all talk haze." I was going to be sick. Or fired. Probably both. 6 hours earlier, my life had been normal. Well, as normal as it could be when you were a 24-year-old junior developer nursing the world's most inappropriate crush on your 32-year-old boss. "Earth to Kai," Marco snapped his fingers in front of my face. "You're doing it again." "Doing what?" "That thing where you stare at Morrison's office like a Victorian maiden pining for her forbidden love." I flipped him off. "I'm working." "You're drooling." "I'm thinking." About his… "Marco," I hissed, glancing around the open-plan office, "shut the fuck up." But he wasn't wrong. I had been staring at Dante Morrison's office, watching him through the glass walls as he conducted a meeting, his sleeves rolled up, his jaw tight with concentration. The man looked like he'd been carved from marble by an artist with a god complex, all sharp angles and dark intensity. 6'3" of pure, concentrated danger, wrapped in a 3-piece suit. "You need to do something about this," Marco said, returning to his screen but keeping his voice low. "You're going to spontaneously combust one of these days." "What am I supposed to do? Walk up to him and say, 'Hey, Mr. Morrison, I know you're my boss and I've only worked here for 5 months, but I'd be fired before I finished the sentence. Or promoted to his bed." I threw a stress ball at him. The thing was, Dante Morrison wasn't just hot. He was intimidating, cold, demanding. The kind of man who could reduce grown developers to tears with a single look. In the 5 months I'd worked at Morrison Tech, I'd seen him smile maybe 3 times. Laugh? Never. Show any emotion beyond mild irritation or intense focus? Absolutely not. He was a machine, a devastatingly attractive, utterly untouchable machine. And I was obsessed with him. "You're doing it again," Marco sing-songed. "Fuck off. Just saying, if you don't make a move soon, I'm going to do it for you. You wouldn't dare. Try me. I'll march into his office right now and tell him you want to… Marco, I swear to God." "Mr. Hayes?" I froze. That voice, deep, smooth, edged with authority, a voice that made every nerve ending in my body stand at attention. Slowly, I turned around. Dante Morrison stood behind my desk, hands in his pockets, his dark eyes fixed on me with an intensity that made my mouth go dry. "Mr. Morrison? Hi. Hello. Can I help you?" Smooth, Kai. Real smooth. "My place. 5 minutes. Bring the Henderson Project files." He didn't wait for a response, just turned and walked away, his presence leaving a vacuum in the air. Marco was grinning like the devil himself. "I hate you so much." "You love me. Now go." Dante Morrison's office was exactly what you'd expect from a tech CEO who'd built a billion-dollar company before he turned 30. Sleek, minimalist, dominated by floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. And it smelled like him. That dark, expensive cologne that made my brain short-circuit every time I got within 5 feet of him. "Close the door," he said without looking up from his computer. I obeyed, my palms sweating as I clutched the Henderson files to my chest like a shield. He finished typing, then finally looked at me. His eyes were the color of smoke, gray with flecks of silver that seemed to see right through me. "Sit." I sat. He leaned back in his chair, studying me with an expression I couldn't read. The silence stretched between us like a living thing. "The Henderson Project. You've been leading the development team." "Yes, sir." "Don't call me sir." Sorry, The code review came back with issues, security vulnerabilities in the API integration. My stomach dropped. What? No, that's not... I checked everything myself. Apparently not thoroughly enough. He slid a printed report across the desk. These need to be fixed by Monday. I'm pulling you from the rest of your assignments. This is your only priority. I stared at the report, heat creeping up my neck. I don't understand. I tested every endpoint. I ran the security protocols twice. Then you missed something. His voice was cold, clinical. Fix it. Yes. I caught myself. Yes, I'll fix it. I know you will. He turned back to his computer, dismissing me. That's all. I stood, humiliation burning in my chest. I'd worked my ass off on the Henderson project, spent nights and weekends making sure every line of code was perfect. And apparently I'd failed. Mr. Morrison, the words came out before I could stop them. He looked up, one eyebrow raised. Can I ask, who did the code review? I did. Oh, of course he did. Right. Okay, I'll get on it. I practically fled his office, my face burning, my hands shaking with a mixture of embarrassment and something else I didn't want to name. Anger. Because part of me wondered if he was just looking for problems, if he held me to a higher standard than everyone else because why? Because I was young? Because I was still proving myself? Or because he'd noticed the way I looked at him and wanted to put me in my place? I spent the rest of the day buried in code, trying to find the security vulnerabilities Dante had mentioned. But the more I looked, the more convinced I became that they didn't exist. Every endpoint was secure, every protocol properly implemented, the API integration was airtight. Unless he was testing me. Unless this was some kind of twisted cower play to see if I'd push back or just accept his judgment without question. By the time I left the office at 9 p.m., I was exhausted, frustrated, and irrationally angry at a man who barely knew I existed. I went home, poured myself a generous glass of wine, and collapsed on my couch. That's when Marco texted me. Marco, how'd it go with Morrison? Me. He ripped apart my code and gave me a weekend deadline. Ouch. I can't find anything wrong with it. I think he's fucking with me. Or he wants to see you work under pressure. Or he wants to see you, period, and this is his weird way of getting your attention. That's insane. You're insane. You literally spent all day staring at him like he personally hung the moon. I did not? You did. It was embarrassing. I hit send and poured more wine, my fingers flying across the screen as I launched into an increasingly detailed description of exactly what I wanted to do to my boss's body. The wine was making me bold, reckless. When I realized something was wrong, the chat header didn't say Marco's name. It said, Dante Morrison, CEO. My wine glass slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. No. No, 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 no. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. I'd mixed up the chat windows. I'd been texting my boss, my actual fucking boss. I was going to die. I was going to actually, literally die. My phone buzzed. Dante Morrison, CEO. My place, now. Then, a second later, Dante Morrison, CEO. Let's see if you're all talk, Hayes. And an address in the downtown district where apartments probably cost more than I'd make in 5 years. I stared at the screen, my heart trying to punch its way out of my chest. This was a trap. It had to be. He was going to call me in so he could fire me in person, maybe press charges for sexual harassment, definitely destroy my career before it even started. I should ignore it, block his number, start packing my desk now and save myself the humiliation. Instead, I found myself pulling up a car service, because apparently, I was an idiot with a death wish and an extremely poor sense of self-preservation. The building was exactly as intimidating as I'd expected, all glass and steel, and doormen who looked like they could bench press me. Name? The doorman asked. Kai Hayes? I'm here to see Dante Morrison? He checked his tablet, then nodded. Penthouse. Elevators on the right. Of course it was the penthouse. The elevator ride up felt like ascending to my own execution. My reflection in the mirrored walls looked pale, terrified, like a man about to walk into the lion's den. Which, technically, I was. The elevator opened directly into his apartment, and I stepped out into a space that looked like it belonged in an architecture magazine. Open concept, minimalist, floor-to-ceiling windows showcasing the entire city. And standing by those windows, backlit by the city lights, was Dante Morrison. He'd changed out of his suit. Now he wore dark jeans and a black Henley that clung to his frame in ways that should be illegal. His sleeves were pushed up, revealing forearms that made my mouth water. "You came," he said, turning to face me. "You told me to. I gave you an option. You could have ignored it, pretended it never happened, shown up Monday morning and acted like everything was normal. Could I have? No." He stopped in front of me, close enough that I could smell his cologne. "But I wanted to see if you'd try." My heart was racing. "Are you going to fire me?" "That depends." "On what?" "On whether you meant what you said." His eyes locked on mine, and I couldn't look away. "Did you?" This was it, the moment where I could laugh it off, claim it was a joke, a drunk text meant for someone else, save my job and my dignity. Instead, I heard myself say, yes. Something flashed in his eyes, heat, hunger, satisfaction. "Show me." I blinked. "What?" He stepped closer, backing me against the elevator door. "Prove it." You can't be serious." "Do I look like I'm joking, Hayes?" He didn't. He looked intense, focused, like I was a problem he was about to solve. "This is insane," I whispered. "You're my boss. We can't." "We can." His hand came up, gripping my jaw and tilting my face up to his. "We are. Unless you're going to tell me you didn't mean it, that it was all just talk." His lips brushed across my bottom lip, and I shuddered. "It wasn't talk," I said. "Then stop stalling." He was challenging me, testing me, waiting to see if I'd back down. I didn't. I grabbed the front of his shirt and pulled him down to me, crashing our mouths together. The kiss was nothing like I'd imagined. It was better, harder, more consuming. He kissed like he did everything else, with complete control and devastating precision. His hand fisted in my hair, angling my head exactly where he wanted it, and I melted against him. "Better," he murmured against my lips, "but not good enough." Then he spun me around, pressing my face against the elevator door, his body a solid wall of heat behind me. "If we're doing this," he said, his breath hot against my ear, "it's done my way, my rules. Understand?" I could barely breathe. "What rules?" "Rule 1. When we're alone, you do exactly what I tell you. No hesitation, no questions." His hand slid down my side, gripping my hip possessively. "Rule 2. This doesn't leave this apartment. At work, nothing changes. You're still my employee. I'm still your boss." His lips brushed against my neck, and I bit back a moan. "Rule 3. The second you want to stop, you say so. This only works if you want it as badly as I do." He turned me back around, his eyes searching mine. "Do you want it, Kai?" The way he said my name, not Hayes, but Kai, sent electricity down my spine. "Yes." "Yes what?" "Yes, I want it." "Good." He kissed me again, slower this time, thorough, because I've been thinking about this since the day you walked into my office. I pulled back, shocked. "What? You think I didn't notice you?" He laughed, and it was the first time I'd ever heard him make that sound. "You think I didn't see the way you looked at me? The way you blushed every time I got too close? I thought. You thought I was oblivious, cold, unaffected." His hand traced the line of my jaw. "I'm none of those things. I'm just good at control. And now? Now I'm done controlling myself around you." He lifted me effortlessly, and I wrapped my legs around his waist instinctively. "Now I'm going to show you exactly what I've been thinking about for the past 5 months. My phone buzzed in my pocket. "Marco. Dude, where are you? You disappeared." I silenced it. Marco could wait. The world could wait. Right now, the only thing that mattered was Dante Morrison carrying me to his bedroom like I weighed nothing, looking at me like I was the answer to every question he'd never asked. His bedroom was as minimalist as the rest of his apartment. King-sized bed, dark sheets, more windows showcasing the glittering city below. He set me down on the bed, and I immediately felt the loss of his warmth. "Stay there," he commanded, and I obeyed without thinking. He moved to his dresser, pulling out something I couldn't see, then returned to stand over me. "Do you trust me?" he asked. It was a loaded question. Did I trust him? I barely knew him. He was my boss. This was reckless and stupid and potentially career-ending. "Yes," I said anyway. "Beautiful," he murmured, "even better than I imagined." "You imagined this?" "Every fucking day of it." When I finally came back to myself, he was hovering over me, looking satisfied and predatory, and still fully clothed. "That's one," he said. I blinked up at him. "One? We're not done, Kai, not even close." He kissed me, and I could taste myself on his tongue. "I'm going to make you breakfast and send you home. And on Monday, you're going to walk into my office and pretend this never happened." "I don't know if I can do that." "You will. Because if you can't keep this secret, we can't keep doing this. And I plan on doing this a lot, Kai. A lot." "Are you okay?" His fingers tracing idle patterns on my skin. "More than okay." "Good." He kissed my temple. "Give me 20 minutes and we'll go again." I laughed. "You're insatiable." "Only with you." His arms tightened around me. "Stay tonight." "I thought you said—" "I changed my mind. Stay." I should have said no, should have maintained some distance, should have protected my heart before it was too late. "Okay," I whispered, because it was already too late. I woke up to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and a muscular arm draped across my waist. For a moment, I was disoriented. Then the previous night came rushing back in. How he'd held me afterwards, surprisingly gentle, his fingers threading through my hair. I turned my head slowly. Dante was still asleep beside me, his face relaxed in a way I'd never seen. He looked younger like this, less intimidating, almost vulnerable. I needed to leave, needed to sneak out before he woke up and we had to confront what we'd done. I carefully tried to extract myself from his grip, but the second I moved, his arm tightened. "Where do you think you're going?" His voice was rough with sleep. I have things to do today, projects to work on." "It's Saturday." "Right, but the Henderson project is fine. There were no security vulnerabilities." I froze. "What?" He opened his eyes, and they were clearer than they had any right to be for someone who'd gotten maybe 3 hours of sleep. "I made them up." "You what?" "I needed an excuse to call you into my office, to talk to you alone." He propped himself up on one elbow, unabashed in his nakedness. "I was trying to figure out how to approach this, how to make a move without abusing my position. And then you sent me that text and solved the problem for me." I sat up, anger cutting through the post-sex haze. "You manipulated me. I created an opportunity. You lied to me. Yes. No shame, no apology. I did." You can't just—" "I can." He sat up too, and suddenly we were face to face, both naked, both angry. "And I did, because I've wanted you since the day you walked into my office for your interview. Since you looked at me with those eyes and I fucking knew that you'd be perfect for me." "You're insane." "Probably." He leaned closer. "But you're still here." He was right. I was still here. And despite my anger, despite knowing he'd played me, I wasn't leaving. "I hate you," I said. "No, you don't." He kissed me, slow and deep. "But you will, eventually, when you realize what you've gotten yourself into." "And what's that?" "Me." His hand cupped the back of my neck. "All of me. The good, the bad, and the obsessive. Because I don't do anything halfway, Kai, especially not this." "This being what?" "You." The word hung in the air between us. "I should go," I said. But I didn't move. "You should stay." His thumb traced my jawline. "Stay for breakfast. Stay for the day. Stay for as long as I can keep you here before reality crashes back in. Monday we go back to being boss and employee, but today, you're mine. It was possessive, probably unhealthy, definitely not what any rational person would agree to. Okay, I said. Okay, but you're making breakfast, and it better be good. He laughed, kissing me again. Deal. Dante Morrison, as it turned out, made excellent pancakes. He also looked unfairly good in nothing but low-slung sweatpants, cooking shirtless in his designer kitchen while I sat on the counter in his t-shirt, watching him. This is surreal, I said. What is? This. You, cooking me breakfast after everything. What did you think would happen? That I'd kick you out immediately? That this was just a one-night thing? I mean, yeah? He turned to look at me, his expression serious. I told you last night, I don't do anything halfway. This isn't casual for me, Kai. We barely know each other. Then we'll get to know each other. He plated the pancakes and brought them over. Starting now, tell me something about yourself that's not in your HR file. I took a bite, stalling. The pancakes were ridiculously good. Like what? Anything. Hobbies, family, why you became a developer. I don't know. I've always been good with computers. It made sense. That's not a real answer. I sighed. My dad walked out when I was 10. My mom worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat. I was a latchkey kid who spent most of his time online because it was free entertainment. Taught myself to code, got a scholarship. Here I am. His expression softened. That couldn't have been easy. It wasn't, but it made me who I am. I met his eyes. What about you? How does someone build a billion-dollar company before 30? Obsession, ruthlessness, an inability to accept failure. My parents were academics, professors. They expected me to follow in their footsteps. When I dropped out of my PhD program to start Morrison Tech, they disowned me. Seriously? Seriously. Haven't spoken to them in 8 years. I'm sorry. Don't be. I made my choice, built something they never could have imagined, and they missed all of it because they couldn't accept that I wanted something different. There was pain in his voice, very deep but still there. Family's complicated, I said. It is. He moved between my legs, his hands settling on my hips. But this doesn't have to be. This can be simple. Nothing about this is simple. Then we'll make it work anyway. He kissed me, and I tasted maple syrup on his tongue. Stay today, please. Let me have this before Monday comes and we have to pretend we're strangers again. I should have said no, should have maintained boundaries, should have protected myself. Okay, I said instead. And I spent the rest of the weekend in Dante Morrison's bed, learning every inch of the man I'd been fantasizing about for months. Learning that he was gentle when he wanted to be, rough when I asked for it, attentive, demanding, possessive in ways that should have scared me but instead made me feel wanted. By Sunday afternoon, I was thoroughly ruined for anyone else. Monday morning arrived with all the subtlety of a sledgehammer. I walked into Morrison Tech at exactly 8 a.m., my body aching in the best possible ways, my mind a mess of anxiety and anticipation. Dante's car was already in the parking garage. His office light was on. He'd left before dawn, kissing me awake with a whispered, "See you at work," that felt both reassuring and terrifying. Dude! Marco appeared at my desk before I'd even logged into my computer. Where the fuck were you this weekend? I texted you like 50 times. I was busy. Busy with what? Projects. Bullshit, you're glowing. And is that... He leaned closer, eyes widening. Is that a hickey? I yanked my collar up. No. Oh my god. Oh my god, you got laid! Marco, shut up. Who was it? When? Where? Give me details. I'm not giving you details. Was it that guy from the gym? The one with the arms? No. Then who? Come on, Kai, throw me a bone here. Mr. Hayes. We both froze. Dante stood behind us, arms crossed, expression completely neutral. He looked every inch the intimidating CEO, suit perfectly tailored, eyes cold, not a hint of the man who'd been inside me approximately 12 hours ago. Mr. Morrison, I managed. Good morning. My office, now. We need to discuss the Henderson project. He walked away without waiting for a response. Marco's jaw dropped. Oh shit, did you not fix whatever he... Wait, his eyes went wide. Wait. The hickey? The glow? You disappeared Friday night after texting about wanting to eat Morrison up and... No, you didn't. I stood up, grabbing my laptop. I have a meeting. Goodbye, Marco. I walked toward Dante's office on shaky legs, trying to ignore Marco's shocked expression and the curious looks from our coworkers. This was fine. Everything was fine. We were just going to have a normal, professional meeting about a project that apparently didn't even need fixing. I knocked on his door. Come in. I entered, closing the door behind me. Dante didn't look up from his computer. Sit. I sat. The silence stretched between us, thick with everything we couldn't say. Finally, he looked up. His expression was still neutral, but his eyes were dark with heat. How are you feeling? He asked, his voice low. Fine. Good. A little sore. The corner of his mouth twitched. Good. So, the Henderson project is perfect, as I told you yesterday. He leaned back in his chair, studying me. This is going to be harder than I thought. Heat flooded through me. Dante. Mr. Morrison, he corrected. At work, it's Mr. Morrison. Right. Sorry. Don't apologize. Just remember the rules. He turned back to his computer, dismissing me. That's all. You can go. I stood, confused. That's it? That's it. You called me in here just to see you. Yes. He finally looked at me again, and the hunger in his eyes made my breath catch. Tonight, 8 p.m., my place. We can. We will. Unless you're telling me you want to stop. Did I want to stop? No. God help me, no. 8 p.m., I agreed. Good. Close the door on your way out. I left his office on shaky legs, Marco's eyes tracking me the entire way back to my desk. Don't, I said before he could start. But don't. Marco, please, not now. He studied me for a long moment, then sighed. Fine, but we're talking about this soon. Fine. And for the record, I'm happy for you. Terrified, but happy. Thanks, I muttered. Because terrified was exactly how I felt. Terrified and exhilarated and completely, utterly fucked. The next 6 weeks were a masterclass in compartmentalization. At work, Dante was my boss. Cold, demanding, professional. He pushed me harder than anyone else on the team, giving me impossible deadlines and high-stakes projects. To everyone else, I was just another employee he was grooming for success. No one suspected that he was also grooming me in entirely different ways. Because at night, I was his. 3, sometimes 4 times a week, I'd find myself in his apartment, in his bed, learning exactly how much control Dante Morrison had over every aspect of his life, including me. He was demanding in the bedroom, specific about what he wanted, unapologetic about taking what he needed. But he was also attentive, careful. He learned my body better than I knew it myself. Every spot that made me gasp, every word that made me shiver, every touch that drove me wild. And God, the things he did to me. Things I'd never done before, never even imagined doing. He pushed my boundaries, testing how far I'd go, how much I'd let him control. And I let him. Because when I was with him, nothing else mattered. Not my career, not the risk, not the fact that we were playing with fire and eventually we'd get burned. You're different lately, Marco said one Tuesday at lunch, 3 weeks into our arrangement. Happier, or something. I wasn't sure what I was. Intoxicated, maybe. Addicted. Drowning in something that felt too good to be wrong even though I knew it was. Just busy at work, I said, picking at my salad. I choked on my water. Marco, don't bother denying it. You disappear 3 nights a week. You have hickeys you try to hide, and you look at Morrison like he personally invented oxygen. I do not. You do, and he looks at you the same way when he thinks no one's watching. Marco leaned forward, his voice dropping. I'm not judging. I'm just worried. Why? Because he's the CEO, Kai. Because this could destroy your career if it goes wrong. Because I care about you, and I don't want to see you get hurt. I'm not going to get hurt. You sure about that? I wasn't, but I couldn't admit that. Couldn't admit that every time Dante looked at me, I fell a little deeper, that I was starting to crave him like air, that the lines between sex and something more were blurring so fast I couldn't see them anymore. I'm sure, I lied. Marco didn't look convinced, but he let it drop. That night, I showed up at Dante's apartment at exactly 8 p.m. like always. He answered the door shirtless, a glass of whiskey in hand, looking like walking sin. "You're late," he said. "By 30 seconds. I don't like waiting." He pulled me inside, his mouth already on mine. "Strip." I obeyed, my clothes hitting the floor before we even made it past the entryway. He backed me against the wall, his hand wrapping around my throat. "I've been thinking about you all day." Afterward, when we were both boneless and sated, he untied me and pulled me against his chest. "You okay?" he asked, his fingers tracing idle patterns on my skin. "More than okay." "Good." He kissed my temple. "Stay tonight." "I have work tomorrow." "So do I." "Stay anyway." I should have said no, should have maintained some distance, should have protected my heart before it was too late. "Okay," I whispered, because it was already too late. I was in love with Dante Morrison, and I had no idea if he felt the same way. The realization hit me like a truck. I was lying in Dante's bed, watching him sleep, and the truth crashed over me with terrifying clarity. I was in love with him. Not just infatuated, not just physically attracted, actually, genuinely in love. I loved the way he looked at me like I was the only person in the room, the way he pushed me professionally because he believed in me, the way he held me afterward, his fingers threading through my hair while he whispered things that made my heart stutter. I loved his intensity, his focus, the way he gave everything to whatever, whoever he wanted. And I was terrified, because this wasn't supposed to happen. This was supposed to be sex, a hot, reckless affair that would burn itself out eventually. But somewhere between that first night and now, it had become so much more, at least for me. I had no idea what it was for him. "You're thinking too loud," Dante murmured, his eyes still closed. "Sorry. What's wrong?" "Nothing." He opened his eyes, pinning me with that intense gray gaze. "Liar. Tell me." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I'm in love with you, and I don't know if you feel the same way, and I'm terrified that admitting it will ruin everything." "It's nothing," I said instead. "Just tired." He studied me for a long moment, then pulled me closer. "Okay, but when you're ready to tell me, I'll be here." I buried my face in his chest, breathing in his scent, memorizing this moment. Because I knew, somehow I knew, that everything was about to change. 3 months into whatever we were doing, everything changed. It started with whispers, quiet speculation in the break room, knowing looks from coworkers, the way conversations would stop when I walked into a room. Someone had noticed. I don't know who or how or what they saw, but the rumors were spreading. "People are talking," Marco warned me one morning, "about you and Morrison." My blood ran cold. "What are they saying?" "That you're sleeping together. That's why you've been getting all the high-profile projects, that you're using him to advance your career." It's not like that." "I know it's not, but they don't." He grabbed my arm. "Kai, you need to be careful. If HR hears about this, they won't. But if they do, they won't," I repeated, more forcefully. But I was scared, because if HR found out, we were both fucked. Dante could lose his position, I could be fired. Our careers, everything we'd both worked for, could be destroyed. That night, I went to Dante's apartment like always, but this time I was shaking. "People know," I said the second he opened the door, "or they suspect. There are rumors." His jaw tightened. "I'll handle it." "How?" "I'll talk to HR, make it clear that any gossip about employees' personal lives will result in disciplinary action." "That'll just make it worse. It'll confirm that there's something to gossip about." "Then what do you suggest?" His voice was sharp, frustrated. "I don't know. Maybe we need to stop. For a while. Until things cool down." The words hung between us like a bomb. Dante's expression went cold. "Is that what you want?" "No, but maybe it's what we need." "I need you." He stepped closer, his hands framing my face. "I'm not giving you up because people are talking." "Dante, no, listen to me. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they think. All I care about is you. But your career? Fuck my career. Fuck all of it. You're more important. The words should have made me happy, should have reassured me. Instead, they terrified me. Because he was willing to risk everything for this, for me. And I didn't know if I was worth that sacrifice. I need to think, I said, pulling away. I need some time. His hands dropped. How much time? I don't know. Kai, please just give me a few days to figure this out. He looked like I'd just gutted him, but he nodded. Okay, take your time, but know this, I'm not giving up on you, on us, no matter how long it takes. I left without looking back, because if I looked back, I'd stay, and staying would mean risking everything. I avoided him for 3 days. 3 days of not going to his apartment, not answering his texts except with brief professional responses. 3 days of feeling like I was slowly suffocating. Marco found me on day 4, sitting alone in the parking garage at lunch. You look like shit, he said, sliding into the passenger seat of my car. Thanks. What happened? I told him we should stop, that the rumors were getting too dangerous. And? He said he didn't care, that I was more important than his career. Whew, that's huge, Kai. I know. So why do you look like someone died? Because I don't know if I can let him do that. Risk everything for me. That's not your choice to make. I looked at him confused. What? It's not your choice. It's his. He's a grown man who knows the risks. If he's willing to put everything on the line for you, that's his decision. You don't get to make it for him. But no buts. The only question is, do you love him? I was quiet for a long moment. Yes, I finally whispered. I love him. Then stop being an idiot and go tell him. I went to Dante's office after hours. The building was mostly empty, just a few stragglers finishing up projects. His light was still on. I knocked. Come in. He looked up from his computer, and the hope that flashed across his face when he saw me nearly broke my heart. Kai? Hi. Are we okay? I don't know, I admitted. But I need to tell you something. He stood, moving around his desk. What? I'm in love with you. The words hung in the air. I'm completely, irrationally in love with you. And it terrifies me, because I've never felt like this about anyone. Because I don't want to be the reason you lose everything you've built. Because He kissed me. Not gentle, not tentative. Desperate, claiming, absolutely certain. Say it again, he demanded when he finally pulled back. I'm in love with you. Again. I love you, Dante. Thank fuck. He pressed his forehead to mine, his hands shaking as they cupped my face. I love you too. I'm completely, obsessively in love with you. You are? Are you kidding? I've been in love with you for months. I just didn't want to scare you off by saying it too soon. I laughed, and it came out slightly hysterical. We're idiots. Complete idiots. He kissed me again, softer this time. But we're idiots together. What do we do now? Now we stop hiding. I'll talk to HR tomorrow, disclose the relationship officially. They'll probably make you transfer to another department to avoid conflicts of interest. And if they fire me instead, then I'll hire you at my next company, because I'm not losing you, Kai, not for anything. You'd really do that? Leave Morrison Tech? Without hesitation. His thumb brushed across my cheekbone. You're more important than any company, any career, anything. I don't deserve you. Yes, you do. And I'm going to spend every day proving it to you. He kissed me again, and this time I let myself believe it. Believe that maybe, just maybe, this could work. Dante disclosed our relationship to HR the next day. The fallout was immediate and predictable. I was called into a meeting with HR, Dante, and the head of legal. They explained the conflict of interest policies, the potential for favoritism, the need to maintain professional boundaries. The solution? I would be transferred to a different department, reporting to a different supervisor. It was fair, reasonable, exactly what we'd expected. But that night, when the company-wide email went out announcing my transfer and obliquely referencing maintaining professional standards, the reactions were mixed. Some people congratulated me on the promotion because my new position came with a raise and more responsibility. Others whispered that I'd only gotten it because I was sleeping with the CEO. Ignore them, Dante said that night as we lay in his bed. They're jealous. They're right, though. I did get it because of you. No, you got it because you're talented and brilliant, and you've worked your ass off. He rolled over, pinning me beneath him. The only thing our relationship affected was the timeline. You would have ended up there eventually anyway. You really believe that? I know it. He kissed me, slow and thorough. Stop doubting yourself. I'll try. Good, because I have plans for you. What kind of plans? His smile was wicked. The kind that involves significantly less talking and significantly more of you screaming my name. I laughed, pulling him down to me. I love you. I love you too. He nipped at my bottom lip. Now shut up and let me show you exactly how much. The next few months were a test of endurance. Working in a different department meant I saw Dante less during the day, but we made up for it at night. And slowly, gradually, people stopped gossiping, stopped caring. We became just another couple navigating the complications of workplace romance. But then, 4 months after we'd gone public, everything changed again. It started with a company-wide meeting.
Dante announced that Morrison Tech was being acquired by Tech Corp, a massive conglomerate. The deal was already done, finalized. He'd be staying on as CEO, but there would be new board members, new oversight, new rules. And as he spoke, I saw something in his eyes that made my stomach drop. He didn't want this. After the meeting, I cornered him in his office. What's going on? The acquisition, did you not hear? I heard, but there's something you're not telling me. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. The board forced it, said the company needed more capital to compete. I fought them, but I was outvoted. So you sold? I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not in this case. He looked tired, defeated. The new board already has concerns about our relationship. My blood ran cold. What kind of concerns? The same ones HR had. Conflicts of interest, questions about your transfer and promotion. They're investigating. Investigating what? Whether I showed you preferential treatment, whether your advancement was merited or influenced. I felt sick. Are you fucking kidding me? I wish I was. So what happens now? Now we wait. They'll review your work, interview your colleagues, and then they'll make a determination. And if they determine I only got here because of you, then they'll fire you, and possibly me too, for violating corporate policies. I sat down hard, my legs giving out. This is insane. I know. He knelt in front of me, taking my hands. But we'll get through it. How can you be so sure? Because I love you, and I'm not letting some corporate bureaucrats destroy what we have. I wanted to believe him, but for the first time since this started, I wasn't sure we'd survive. The investigation lasted 3 weeks. 3 weeks of interviews, document reviews, and intense scrutiny. 3 weeks of barely sleeping, constantly anxious, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And through it all, Dante was there, holding me when I broke down, reassuring me when I spiraled, loving me even when I was at my worst. Whatever happens, he said one night, we're in this together. What if they fire me? Then we'll figure it out. What if they fire you? Then I'll start over, build something new, something better. You'd really do that? I already told you you're more important than any company. I buried my face in his chest, breathing him in. I love you so much it scares me. Good, because I love you just as much. The verdict came on a Tuesday. I was called into a conference room with Dante, the new board chair, and several lawyers. My heart was in my throat as I sat down. Mr. Hayes, the board chair began, we've completed our investigation into your promotion and transfer. I held my breath. After a thorough review of your work product, interviewing your colleagues and supervisors, and examining the timeline of events, we've determined that your advancement was entirely merited based on your performance and capabilities. I exhaled. However, she continued, we do have concerns about the appearance of favoritism. Therefore, moving forward, we're implementing new policies regarding relationships between executives and employees. Mr. Morrison will no longer have any direct or indirect influence over your position, compensation, or advancement. I understand. Additionally, we strongly recommend that you both maintain strict professional boundaries at work. No personal interactions during business hours. No use of company resources for personal matters. Violations will result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. It was harsh, but fair. We agree, Dante said. The board chair nodded. Then this matter is closed. You're both free to go. We left the conference room in silence. Only when we were safely in the parking garage did I finally let myself breathe. We made it, I said. We did. Dante pulled me against him, holding me tight. I told you we would. I'm sorry for doubting. Don't be. This was scary as hell, but we survived. What now? Now we go home, and I'm going to spend the rest of the night reminding you exactly why this was all worth it. I laughed, kissing him. I love you. I love you too. He smiled, and it was the most genuine smile I'd ever seen from him. Good. Now let's get out of here before they change their minds. That night, in Dante's bed, everything felt different. Lighter. Freer. Like we'd been holding our breath for months and could finally exhale. We should celebrate, Dante murmured, his fingers tracing patterns on my bare skin. How? Move in with me. I propped myself up on my elbow, staring at him. What? Move in with me, officially. No more splitting time between apartments, no more pretending we're not together every second we can be. Dante, I know it's fast. I know it's a big step. But I want you here, all the time. I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep with you every night. I want this to be our home. My throat tightened with emotion. You're serious? Completely. What if it doesn't work out? It will, but if somehow it doesn't, we'll figure it out like adults. No drama, no mess, just honesty. I looked at him, this brilliant, complicated, obsessive man who turned my world upside down, and realized there was only one answer. Okay? Okay? I'll move in with you. His smile was blinding. Yeah? Yeah, but I'm bringing my gaming setup and you can't complain about it. He laughed, pulling me down for a kiss. Deal. Bring whatever you want, as long as you come with it. 6 months later, I was standing in our apartment. Not his apartment, ours. Watching Dante cook dinner while I set the table. It was domestic. Normal. Perfect. How was work? He asked, not looking up from the stove. Good. Mitchell finally approved the new security protocols. That's great. I knew he would. How was yours? Long, tedious. The board wants to expand into Southeast Asia and won't shut up about it. Will you do it? He turned to look at me, his expression thoughtful. Maybe, but I'm thinking about something else. What? Leaving. I nearly dropped the plates. What? Not immediately, but eventually. He moved toward me, taking the plates and setting them down before pulling me close. I've been at Morrison Tech for 8 years. I've built it into what it is, but it's not mine anymore. Not really. The acquisition changed everything. So what would you do? Start over. Build something new, something better, something that's actually mine. He paused. Ours, if you want it. You want me to start a company with you? I want you to build a life with me, however that looks. If it's starting a company together, great. If it's you doing your thing and me doing mine, that's fine too, as long as we're together. My heart was so full it hurt. I love you. I love you too. He kissed me, soft and sweet. So what do you say? Want to burn it all down and start fresh with me? That's insane. We've established that I'm insane, and reckless, and completely, utterly obsessed with you. That too. His smile was wicked. So is that a yes? I thought about it for approximately 2 seconds. Yes, let's do it. Let's burn it all down and build something new. You sure? Absolutely not, but I love you, so I'm doing it anyway. He laughed, lifting me up and spinning me around. This is going to be amazing. Or a complete disaster. Same thing. He set me down, his hands framing my face. Thank you. For what? For sending me that text. For being brave enough to show up at my apartment. For loving me even when I don't deserve it. You deserve it. All of it. So do you. He kissed me again, deeper this time. I laughed. Promises, promises. Oh, that's not a promise. That's a guarantee, right after dinner. 1 year after that mistaken text, Dante and I stood in an empty office space downtown. It wasn't much, just bare walls and concrete floors, but it was ours. "This is really happening," I said, looking around. "It is." Dante wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. "Are you scared?" "Terrified." "Good. That means we're doing something right." I leaned back against him. "I can't believe we're actually doing this." "I can. You're brilliant. I'm brilliant. Together, we're unstoppable." Modest as always. "It's not modesty if it's true." He turns to face me. "Thank you for doing this with me." "Where else would I be?" "I don't know. Anywhere. You could have stayed at Morrison Tech, built your career there, played it safe." "Safe is boring, and I don't want safe. I want you. I want this. I want us." He kissed me, and I tasted future in it, bright and terrifying and full of possibility. "I love you," he murmured against my lips. "I love you too, even when I'm being insufferable. Especially then." He grinned. "Good, because I plan on being very insufferable while we build this company. I wouldn't expect anything less." We stood there for a moment, just holding each other in our empty office that would soon be filled with desks and computers and dreams. "You know," I said, "we never did make it to that desk fantasy." His eyes darkened. "What desk fantasy?" "The one from my text, the one that started all this." "Ah, that fantasy." His hand slid down to my hips. "Well, we don't have a desk yet, but we do have a floor." "Dante Morrison, are you suggesting we christen our new office before we even officially lease it?" "I'm not suggesting, I'm demanding." He backed me against the wall. "Because you're mine, Kai Hayes, and I want to claim you in every space we ever occupy together." "You're insane. We've established that." "And possessive. Definitely. And I love you anyway. I'm counting on it." He kissed me, deep and claiming and absolutely perfect. "Now shut up and let me show you exactly how much I love you back." And there, in our empty office that represented everything we were about to build together, Dante Morrison made good on every single promise he'd ever made. It all started with a mistaken text, a moment of wine-fueled bravery and terrible aim, but it gave me everything: a career, a partner, a future, and the kind of love that made every risk worth taking. I'll love you forever. The kind of love that proved sometimes the best things in life come from our most embarrassing mistakes. The end.